Hi everybody, I'm Yunus Uteha from Rabat, the capital of Morocco. This lesson is for the first week of Introduction to Music Production of Coursera.org. I will be teaching you a basic of sound. I'm a French speaker, so sorry if I make some mistakes in pronunciation. Sound. What is sound? Sound is a mechanical wave that is an oscillation of pressure transmitted through a solid, liquid, or gas, composed of frequencies within the range of hearing. In this overview, I will try to describe important qualities of sound. There are four main properties of sound: propagation, amplitude, frequency, and timbre. We will focus on them in this overview. So let's talk about propagation. Propagation describes how sound moves through a medium, most commonly in the air, which depends on the sound speed and what kind of it which is traveling through. The condition of the medium is also a factor which sound is received. The propagation permits the listener to place a particular sound source in a particular space. Multiple variations are the size of the room and temperature of air and elevation of environment can modify the propagation and the speed of the sound, resulting in a weaker one. This is why it's very important that a professional studio will be prepared with some special condition to record sound as clean as possible. So the audio engineer can process the sound later and get the desired effect. However, the speed of sound will always vary slightly. We can say that speed of sound is approximately 3000 meters per second, 1 foot per millisecond, or 1 mile per second. The understanding of this parameter can help you find desired sound. For example, it explains how the issue in a bigger room differs from that in a smaller room. In a large room, sound takes more time to travel from one end of the room to another, resulting in an echo effect. Our ear will hear the sound differently than in a smaller room, which is reduced echo. Effects such as delay, flanger, reverb, or phases are created in part by manipulating aspects of propagation that is widely used in the mix to create a sense of space and depth for the listener that makes the whole track a lot more rich in space. The second property is amplitude. So amplitude can be described as the extending or light and width of a sound wave. Another way of describing amplitude is the amount compressor and rarefier as it travels. Sound with high amplitude, a high compressor and rarefaction rate sound louder than sound with lower amplitude. Not to be confused with loudness, amplitude is the intrinsic strength of a sound wave, while loudness is the perceived strength of a sound wave. A sound can have amplitude, but loudness is the sound source and the listener are distance from each other. Amplitude is typically measured in decibels. A decibel is a logarithm measurement that reflects the tremont range of sound intensity. Our ear can perceive and closely correlate to the physiology of our ear and our perception of loudness. There are many different forms of decibel measurement. In the air, the measurement used is decibel SPL, or decibel of sound pressure level. Decibel SPL is related to the lowest threshold of hearing, on the absolute quietest sound that humans are able to sense. From this bottom threshold, the measurement of decibel SPL starts at 0 and increases with amplitude. Units are displayed as positive number. In the computer, amplitude is measured in decibel Fc, or decibel in full scale. This measurement instead is related at the loudest sound that computer can represent in numbers. In this measurement, 0 decibel Fs begin at the computer highest threshold and decrease with amplitude. Units are displayed as negative numbers. Most people don't specify the decibel scale that they are using. So context is important when working with audio in both recording and in a DAW, digital audio workstation, or mixing board. The concept of amplitude is very important during the recording and mixing processor. It is important to verify that all of the recording tracks are set to appropriate level, which are set through volume dials that adjust amplitude. There are also DAW plugins that will manipulate the output amplitude, such as compressor, gates, and limiters. So the third properties is frequency. Frequency can be described as a sense of pitch, how frequently sound vibrates, compress, and rarefy when traveling of a number of wave cycles that occur within a period of 1 second. A fast wave have higher frequency, and slow wave have a low frequency. High frequencies have a high pitch, while low frequencies have a low pitch. Frequency is measured in hertz, which equal to 1 vibration or 1 cycle per second. The human range of hearing estimated to be between 20 and 20,000 hertz, 20 kilohertz. Individual differences from person to person will result in different ranges. Younger people generally hear a broader range than elderly people. Hearing loss due to age or repeated exposure to loud sound results in a smaller range of hearing, with the most loss occurrence at the high frequency range. It's important to note that propagation, amplitude, and frequency are features of sound that are independent of each other. A high frequency, low amplitude sound is different from that which is a low frequency, high amplitude sound. This feature but independent of the sound's propagation. So the last and first properties is timbre. In simple terms, timbre is what makes a particular musical sound different from another. The specific tones of a musical note or sound that distinguish different types of sound production. Even when they have the same pitch and loudness, you can say how the instrument is playing. For instance, it is the differences between a guitar and piano playing the same note at the same loudness. Timbre is made of multiple frequencies that color a sound. All sounds we hear in a regular basis, natural sounds, are made of multiple frequency sound with a single frequency, sine wave, are not found in natural sound. Some sound that approximate a pure sine wave are whistling, a crystal glass said to vibrate by running a wet finger around its rim, and the sound made by a tuning fork. To the human ear, a sound that is made up of more than one sine wave will either sound noisily or will have detectable as harmonic. This wave is described as a different timbre. Finally, I worked hard on this and I try to do my best to explain to you, my classmates, and I would love to know if I got everything right or is it there anything I missed or could have explained better. What do you think of this video recording? Thank you for watching until the end and thank you for critiquing.